Welcome to Beyond the Diet. This is your space to transform your relationship with weight, food, and the changes that come with each stage of your life, so you move through womanhood embodying your feminine strength and radiance. Led by me, Audrey,
and me, Christina, we are your weight, wellness, and women's health guides and coaches. This channel gives you practical tips, holistic practices, and transformational insights to help you release that stubborn weight naturally and easily,
improve your digestion and metabolism,
balance your hormones,
implement holistic practices for stress relief, energy, women's health and balance.
And we ultimately help you step into your power as the vibrant, unstoppable woman you were always meant to be.
Join us to learn about listening to your body, eating with awareness, and living in a way that supports your unique stage of womanhood.
Every week you'll find empowering videos on weight loss, women's health, yoga, Ayurveda, and the lifestyle shifts that are designed to help you feel at home in your body again.
This is your invitation to step into womanhood differently. This is Yoga to Transform.
So we are jumping into the yamas. So the yamas and the niyamas. So Patanjali's Yoga Sutras are quite often taught as in yoga teacher trainings and the Bhagavad Gita. But Patanjali is quite often referred to as, I guess, the preeminent text when it comes to yoga. It's more of a classical text, so while we still study it in Anusara, we probably don't embrace it in the same way that other traditions do, but we still study it because we have a different perspective. And when we dive deeper into yoga, we can talk about the history and where Anusara fits in another time. So basically, the Yoga Sutras talk about the 8 limbs of yoga. And one of the 8 limbs is the yamas, which are basically the moral observances or restraints or disciplines that we are asked to follow when we jump onto a yoga path. And so from an Anusara perspective or from a tantric yoga perspective, that in the practices of yoga, these yamas and niyamas don't really fall into the practices of yoga, if that makes sense, because the practices of yoga are the things that we do on the mat, the meditations that we practice, and how we behave kind of falls under another set of guidelines and principles. But we still have our own code. So the first one is ahimsa, or non-violence, or compassion and kindness. And in the Yoga Sutras, Sutra 2.35, Patanjali says, in the presence of one firmly established in non-violence, all hostilities cease. And I remember hearing a story of, I think, Mother Teresa needing to go into a city that was really embattled, and both sides kind of just lay down their arms as she kind of went through with her ambulance to pick up, I think she was gathering children or something, but basically the power of her peacefulness was able to stop the battle around her, like both sides just laid down their arms. And India, where this comes from, Ahimsa is such a key tenet of their philosophy that Gandhi was able to achieve freedom from Britain through practicing non-violence. You know, it's the only kind of freedom that has been gained without people going into war or violence. So it's a really strong tenet of the yoga practice and the practices in India. So I'm just going to say, read another quote, which is, ahimsa, when it's rightly understood, is the ultimate weapon. It turns one's enemy into a friend, whereby banishing the possibility of further conflict. In the practice of yoga, it is important to understand the same life flows in the veins of all creatures, from Swami Kriyananda. So basically what he's saying and what we say from an Anusara perspective is that Creation, we're all the same. So when we do harm or violence to another being or another creature, then we're really kind of harming ourselves at the same time. So it's, you can never separate yourself from the harm that you put on another person or another thing. So one of the key things that we need to remember, though, is that it's more about the intention than it is about the action or even the impact, if that makes sense. So I quite often think I'm quite an outspoken person, but I don't have a very cruel mind or heart or intent, if that makes sense. So sometimes I'll say things that may be received like it's being cruel, but I'm not being cruel. But it feels that way to the receiver. Does that make sense? So you can't always judge whether something is violent always by the action itself. You have to also understand the intention behind it too. So the yamas and the niyamas remind us that yoga is a way of life, and the yama are the moral disciplines that we begin to apply. And I've already said all of that. So ahimsa, non-violence in thought, in word, and in deed. So we make sure that what we do is done in harmony and that we're creating peace and joy around us, right? So there's that real practice, and we've talked about right thinking and all of those other things in earlier classes and how to use mindfulness to manage our emotions and our anger or whatever it might be that comes up. So it's that training your brain into loving kindness and into compassion and into peacefulness away from violence and away from injury, in word, thought, and deed. So when you are anchored in non-violence, you radiate a harmony out to the world and you affect everyone else around you in a positive way. So when we kind of think about it from the perspective of practicing an asana, like practicing yoga, that non-violence is about not judging where we are in our own practice. Like, I should be further along, I should be holding handstand for 10 seconds now, why can't I get my foot behind my head, like judging and criticizing and then even pushing beyond the capabilities and boundaries of our own practice. So learning to practice within our own limitations would be examples of ahimsa. And then there's ahimsa, practicing non-violence in the way that we nourish ourselves or the things that we take in. So there's the movies we watch and the books we read and the people we hang out with and the foods we eat and all of those other things, like without even realizing it, when we eat certain foods, there are foods that I eat that I know if I eat them, I'm not going to, my body's going to give me some, backlash. It's almost a violent act of doing that to myself. Or if I drink too much red wine, the headache the next day, right? There's the price that you pay. So just noticing, I know that I can't watch scary movies anymore because I spend the next 3 weeks scared out of my pajamas. I'm just so terrified. So just what are the things that you take in? And then ahimsa in our thinking, so the non-violence in our thinking. So watching the streams of our thoughts and how are those harmful thoughts that we have negatively impacting on our own well-being. Because when we think and we speak in a negative way, we're activating the body's sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight or freeze response, without even realizing it. And then when we do that, we start releasing the cortisol and the adrenaline into our system, which lowers our immunity, which like all of a sudden you start this flow-on effect of making you more susceptible to further pain, whether that might be physical or emotional. So it's the thoughts that we have about ourselves and others that really affect our well-being. So contrary, on the other side, when we have harmonious and loving thoughts, it causes our dopamine to be released and helps strengthen our immune system. So there's been medical studies that show that optimistic patients, or more joyful, kind and loving and compassionate patients, have stronger immune systems and recover quicker from injury or illness. And they live longer than the more pessimistic, negative ones. So there you go. And I love this piece of research that I found, which is happiness is contagious. So if one of your friends is happy, you are 25% more likely to be happy, which is awesome, right? So if you want to feel happy, hang out with your happy friends. And here's the other cool thing. If a neighbor is happy or an acquaintance is happy, like someone that you don't really spend that much time with or don't know that well, your happiness increases by 6%. So it's like, I know, it's like boom, and you just kind of just gather up all these happy people, and all of a sudden all your percentages of happiness are going through the roof. So when it comes to Ahimsa, when it comes to your mind, do not think maliciously of others. Do not think maliciously of yourself, right? And I don't know about you, but I've been practicing yoga now for a really long time, and I still have those days where I'm like struggling not to think resentful or mean thoughts about a person, you know? So it's like, it's still a practice, even after 20 something years. And then when it comes to our speech, so do not use foul language or swear. That's a hard one. Or backstab or gossip, or what's that? What's my word to say there? I don't know. Quarrel. That's what I was saying. So don't fight with people. So that whole really being careful about how we speak and refraining from thinking that, but also then letting it come out of our mouths. And action, avoid any action that will cause harm or any injury to anyone else. So the tantric perspective is that if you come back to the 3 A's of Anusara, right? Attitude, alignment, action. So this attitude piece, when we come to Ahimsa, which is the first and probably the most important of the yamas, is they say it's more about your intention versus anything else. So when we practice Anusara yoga, we have the set the foundation open to grace, principle number 1, plus we have the A for attitude, right? Which is about setting our intention again and creating that foundation that we move from. So when we set the foundation, which I don't know if you've noticed in my classes, but I'm kind of reminding us that the foundation is good and beautiful and kind and loving and, you know, all of these positive, virtuous qualities that fall in that world of Ahimsa, of kindness and compassion and lovingness. So when we anchor our attitude and our foundation into this place of loving kindness, into this place of looking for the good and seeing the beauty and really believing that the ground of being is going to support us and hold us and it is beautiful and good, then it's much harder for our mind to move into harmful thinking and for ourselves to move into harmful speaking, you know, because we've got this anchoring in the first A of Anusara, or the first principle of Anusara, set the foundation open to grace. And from that tantric perspective, everything comes from the one. So we're all a unique sparkle, contagious, right? We sparkle with a divine luster, each and every one of us, or each and everything around us sparkles with this divine luster. That's the reminder that we all come from the one and we're all still part of it. So all of creation is sacred. Like everything's sacred. I'm sacred, this top's sacred, these earrings are sacred, like, you know, it's all, you're sacred, you know, like it's, so then we treat everything with a reverence versus a contempt, versus a desire to cause it harm. So we kind of move into that moving through life with the ability to see the wonder and the joy and the awe of it all. And then just picking up on the piece of karma that when Christine came out to New Zealand, she talked about karma and how that's kind of the conditioning. So when we repeat thoughts that are harmful, or words that are harmful, or actions that are harmful, we're perpetuating this continuation into that cycle of staying in places where we're creating harm and being harmed by our own actions or others' actions. So when we can break free from that cycle, then and move into the other side, which is that thinking nice things, saying nice things, doing nice things, we're kind of shifting our karma. And it's from a tantric perspective, we really don't believe that, the karma, if I do something bad, it's going to come back at me. But it's actually, I've just created this cycle in my life that I now am just going to keep perpetuating until I break that habit. It's more like it's a habit that I'm creating a really strong groove, and it's harder to get out of. Your attitude can free you from your bondage, or it can keep you imprisoned. So choose an attitude of loving kindness and compassion. To harm someone, even if it is the subtlest of ways, harms yourself and the receiver of the harm. So it's a two-way street. And that, I think, is everything that I wanted to say about Ahimsa. Do you have any questions or thoughts about that? Or
it's a real belief system.
Yeah. Well, it's the yamas are called the restraints or the moral observances. So it's really what you're doing is restraining or retraining your mind to think differently, and then speak differently, and then behave differently. Yeah. So and they are reminding you it's a way of life. So yeah, you're right. It's a belief system, but more of a practice. What have I written? I've written practical ways to live, to access peace, joy, and love.
It's my experience. If you give off goodwill, you'll get it back, and many more times.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's interesting because I'm studying. I'm a long-time student of something called A Course in Miracles, and I'm into the section in the Course in Miracles, which is to give is to receive, which is basically, I guess, that whole, what they talk about here is like, and I'm really kind of understanding it on a different level this time, which is if I want to receive something, then I have to be willing to give it, right? Or I have to be willing to give something that's of the equal value of the thing that I want to be receiving. So there's this whole like you just said, like if you want good stuff, then give out good vibes. Yeah. And if you don't want good vibes, then don't give them out, because you won't get them. And I'm covering aquafit classes on Wednesday mornings, and one of the girls, she's like, oh, how long are you covering aquafit for? I saw you were covering. And I was like, oh, just till whatever, the 12th of June or something. And she's like, well, I'm coming because it's all about the vibes, So it's you give out the good vibes, and people will come if they like it, right? And there'll be people that are like, no, I want the bad vibes, and they won't come. So yeah, if you give out goodwill, you definitely get it back. But it's not a direct transaction either, if that makes sense. Like it'll come back sometimes from someplace really surprising that you didn't expect.
When the person realizes that they've been getting goodwill for a long time, they might realize it as well.
Yeah, they will. Alrighty, shall we do a meditation? Now, is it okay? Because what I tend to do is check the time. So is it okay if I set a timer on my phone? So is that right? Perfect. Thank you. We'll go for 11 minutes, which is a secret number for meditation. And let's take a comfortable seat. Maybe leaning against your pillow. Take your thighs back and apart if they're in a cross-legged or straight leg position, or even if you're sitting on a chair. Just close your eyes and focus in on your breath. Now, given Ahimsa is really this practice of loving kindness and compassion, what I thought tonight we would do is take the part of the loving kindness meditation whereby we find someone who we have a struggle with, not a big struggle, not someone that it's really going to bring you into a heightened state, but someone who's challenging you right now. And place that person, or maybe if there's more than one, you can place both of those people in front of you. And just imagine them standing in front of you. And breathe them deep into your heart. And with every exhalation, just send some energy from your heart to their heart. We'll spend just a few moments just really creating that strong connection of heart to heart, you and the person. Who challenges you. Could be a boss or a family member, co-worker. Now begin to repeat the meditation. May you be happy, and send that to this person. May you be happy, may you be healthy. May you be loved. May you find peace. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be loved. May you find peace. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be loved. May you find peace. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be loved. May you find peace. Just like me, this person wants to be happy. Just like me, this person wants to be healthy. Just like me, this person wants to be loved. Just like me, this person wants to find peace. Just like me, this person wants to be happy. Just like me, this person wants to be healthy. Just like me, this person wants to be loved. Just like me, this person wants to find peace. Just like me, this person wants to be happy. Just like me, this person wants to be healthy. Just like me, this person wants to be loved. Just like me, this person wants to find peace. Just hold this person in your awareness. And send them loving kindness. Slowly begin to bring your awareness back to your breathing. Holding this person in your heart. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Bowing your head to your heart in deep gratitude for this person in your life. Say thank you and let them go in peace and love and kindness. And then begin to release your hands and inhale, lift your head and open your eyes. Thank you.